Hi guys, I'm Leonard O'Neill and I'm here to assist you on your journey. All right, welcome. My name is Leonard O'Neill and some of you might know who I am already because you've seen my other videos on Orion Rising and other things that I've done. Not here for that, okay? This is going to be a broadcast on my personal channel, my other channel. I have two other channels other than Orion Rising. And this is going to be short videos that I'm going to talk about and try to assist you on your journey through life. If you don't want to deal with that and you don't want to know about that, change channel. Okay? So, what is all this about? Let's start with the basics. Why am I doing this? Because there's so many people out there that everyone is out there trying to help everybody to ascend or to find Jesus and find your way to God. And a lot of us just kind of shy away from the churches after a while. I do have to say, let me point out that I am ordained minister. Okay, and I was also knighted by the Holy Roman Catholic Church. So in their religion, I'm also a minister. I'm not a priest there because I didn't go to their seminary. You have to go to the Catholic seminary to become a priest. Even if you're a minister from another church, from another Christian faith, you can't be deemed a priest until you go to their seminary and learn what they and their way of doing things. Then you be called father. But I am a minister. I can be called padre. I can be called, reverend. Whatever I want to use as a title, or just minister. But I don't currently have a church. I could and go to work for somebody and to teach a Christian flock, Orthodox Western Christian or Western Christianity. But that's not what I'm about. That's why I'm doing this. Okay. So what I want to explain is, this is what I call the way. If any of you've seen my Orion Rising page, you see that I have the way there. And that's what I've called it my entire life because I never really had any name for it. And I didn't want it to become a religion in any way. That's just like the Law of One. I'm doing a show on that on every Friday night. I don't want that whole ideology to become a religion because it's not. That whole ideology is the way. And I was already had the way and that way working throughout my life from everything that I've learned before I even heard of the Law of One, which is almost 2 years ago now. But I've been doing this for, I'm 52, going to be 53 this year. I've been doing this since I was, I don't know, 16, 17 when I said to my father, what religion are we? I think I even said it earlier than that, but that's when I set out on my quest, really was that time. And I've read every Bible that I could get a hold of. I've talked to the clergy from gone to the synagogues and the mosques and the Christian, churches and sat down and talked to these different clergy from these different churches to find out exactly what it is. Because my father said that, go to their churches, find out what they're about, what their religion is about. Now, basically it's all the same thing, truthfully. They all talk about one true God. And then if you get into the other religions, the older religions, you had the Greeks and the Romans and you had the Vikings and the Celts and the Asians, the Chinese and the Japanese, and they all had many gods. Native Americans, many gods. Natives to Aborigines, to Canada, America, Australia. They all had many gods at one time, and then you had gods and goddesses, and then you had some religions that were goddess based and other religions that were male god based. And so there's been all of these different types of religions. I'm not going to get into that because it's a history of religion that we don't really need to get into, but that's what's in my brain is the history of not only religion but the history of military conquest and how the religious aspect of that played into the societal norms of the time and the aggression or lack thereof of the people at the time. So maybe I'll do that as a show one day just for a history lesson. But the truth of the matter is that most of if not all, of what they deem prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses, and Elijah, and Daniel, and the different, even David, even King David, I think the Hebrews even kind of consider him somewhat of a prophet. If you look at all of these religions and this religious aspect from around the world, you'll find that all of the religions intermingled at some point in time, and that each religion is borrowed from another religion, or some aspect of it is borrowed from another religion in some respect. Most of your religious fervor of today is based and borrowed from ancient religions that you don't know, that are basically almost non-existent now. Okay, and all of that stuff was mingled together to create these religions that we have now. And now we're fighting wars over these religions who believe in basically the same thing. It's just semantics. The Hebrews don't want to believe that Muhammad's a prophet. They don't want to believe that Jesus was a prophet. Neither one of them, right? Then you have the Muslims who say that Muhammad was his prophet, only prophet, no one else. The Christians don't say that Jesus is the only prophet. Okay, they don't. They really, you can have as many prophets as you want. That's what pisses off some of the Christians, is because the Catholics have saints who they consider kind of a quasi-prophet because they did phenomenal things and they committed miracles. So they become saints. That doesn't make them a prophet or God. That just means that that person did phenomenal things, that through that person a miracle was worked and someone witnessed that miracle where they did something like, Jesus did. Okay? Not quite everything he did with being the person who died for everyone's sins in the minds of Christians, but in doing things that should have gotten them killed, or no one should have listened, or something that they should have died from where they didn't, and they miraculously survived, and it was something that they considered an act of God. So that meant that they were special. They were sent by God to do that thing, to help people in a great way. So you have all that stuff that's mixed up. What does it have to do with anything, man? Because those of us out here who look, I don't know that I'm I'm an atheist, man. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in religion either, and that's my point. I've gone to churches for a very long time, and organized religion is not the way. All the prophets were trying to tell you that. Jesus said that on the Sermon on the Mount. And Muhammad said it all the time. When did you see Muhammad teaching in a church? I mean, none of us saw that, but when did you hear that Muhammad teaches in a church? People now, since Muhammad's gone, teach in the church about what Muhammad said. Muhammad taught about what Moses said. Moses was teaching not in the church, but out on the plains. Moses was out for 40 years and, out in the wilderness and never got to go into the kingdom of heaven. What kind of God does that? Sorry, Moses, you don't get to go here. Read the Bible. So everyone has problems at some point with some aspect of your religion, whatever it is, because you know that it's a good thing, but there's just something wrong with it. And what's wrong with it is that part that has been corrupted by the human race, by men, to make money. Okay? Well, we have to keep the doors open, so we have to have some money. Agreed, but you don't have to have a $1 million gown, right? You don't need that. Jesus is taught in whatever he was wearing at the day. Okay? Burlap sack. Okay, same thing with Muhammad had a little bit better clothing. He was a little aristocrat, as it were, as far as people wandering the desert with no money. But the whole purpose and the whole point of this is that I believe in the way. And the way is what? The way is if you listen to everything that all of these religions have said, and instead of sitting in a chair and giving them money and paying a tithing, 10%, 15% of your total wages, right? You don't need to do that. There's no reason for it. Okay, that scares the Christian churches and they get angry at Leo for saying that. Okay, but the truth is this. Their time is done, their time has come, their time has passed. But some of you still need those, okay? And it's okay. It is okay. I'm not saying that you should give that up, because if that is what you need, then you need to do that. Everyone needs to do what they need to do. Each one of you needs to make that decision, okay? Because what are we here for? We're here to learn and experience everything that we can. We're here to learn like baby souls. We've been here for the first time. We're here to understand all these things that are in front of us that we're going to have to learn. So we're basically going to a college and we're going, what are we going to learn here? And there's a seminar and we're sitting at the seminar and we're being shown these little tidbits of things that for the rest of our existence we'll be learning. So we're supposed to look at those things and kind of learn a little bit about each one so we have an idea going forward, and then we have to pick a side, whether I'm going to be a good soul or an evil soul, and that decides what school you go to, what college you go to from here on out, until you decide to come back over to the good side, and then you have to recant everything that you did. But God doesn't make you go all the way back to point, A to start up again. You can flip over in one life, but it's very grueling, and you'll see, and that's none of the business of what we're talking about right now. That's later on down the road. So you're here to make a decision about who you want to be, good or bad, and you're here to just live and experience things. Some of you may be here this lifetime, just to live and not to do anything that has anything to do with spiritualism or anything else. And that's okay. All of that is okay. It's okay to do that. If you want to sit down and not do anything, that's okay too. Eventually, I did it for a whole lifetime. And I know if you don't believe in reincarnation, it's okay, right? Everything is individualized, and you need to understand that. You don't need to follow the herd, okay? What you need to do is look within and decide whether you're a good person. If you're just a good person and you're then expanding your mind or your spirituality and you're still being a good person, you don't have to worship anyone. You're not here to worship someone. You're not a slave. You weren't born a slave. You weren't created a slave. This human race was not created as a slave race. Okay? We created ourselves because, here it is, kids, because we are actually a piece of the one. Piece of whatever you want to call that character. God, Yahweh, Mohammed, whatever you want to call that deity in your mind, in your personal religious background that you were indoctrinated to the point where you've decided you still want to make a decision to maybe back away from that. Whatever it is that you, Brahma, whatever it is, okay, that is that ultimate figurehead that created the universe, whatever name, Zeus, right? Whatever name, Odin, whatever name, wherever you are, okay, that none of that's important. What is important is that you understand that in all aspects of every single religion, there is the creator, okay? So what are we trying to do here? We're trying to what? Ascend back to the creator. Or none of it's true and we're just here just to live this one life and then it's over. You can think that too. It doesn't matter. It's a matter of how you live your life. That is the important thing, and that's just going to get everybody turned against me and hating me. When Christians are going to say that I'm possessed by the devil and that I am the devil. That's not true. There is no devil. There wasn't one until it was made up. Okay? There is a very evil entity. Okay? But it's still, you can call that thing the devil. So I don't know if it's a male or a female. It's the sixth dimension, the sixth density. So it could be a hive mind complex of evil people. Okay? So we don't know the answer to that because we're not there, and we can't know the answer to that because we have the forgetting here. We get mind wiped. Some of us have ascended enough to where we're kind of woke up. We've kind of woken, and we kind of know a little bit more than we did when we first got here. Okay? And so those of us who know that are trying to assist those out there who don't know that in any way we can. A lot of times we just don't even say this to you, what I just said. We just make inspirational videos that make you feel good, and or stories or whatever, make you feel good, and it helps you raise your vibration without even knowing it. But I'm being honest and telling you that. Now, whether you believe me or not is, your choice. Pure and simple. If you don't believe me, turn me off. If you do believe me, subscribe to my page, right? And hit that little bell so you know when I post something new. Okay? And then you can watch my videos, and, I'll have graphics and things, but I'm not going to sit here every day going, and that's your ego, and live by the ego, because that's when you're stuck in that second, that's like year 2 of spiritual growth. You learn about the ego, and then people just get stuck there. That's like in Law of One, when you learn about being part of God, people get stuck there and they're like, I am God, you are God, we are all God. And they just get stuck there and they just regurgitate that for a long, long time. Okay, I mean, the truth is, yeah, are they right? Yeah. But I don't need to sit here and spend my whole life on it. The whole purpose of your ego is to get to a point where you can kill the ego and eventually not need the ego. But that's a long, 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 long time, and it won't be in this lifetime. Okay? So that'll be in a long, 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 long time from now, hundreds of thousands of years from now, before the ego is no longer needed. Who knows? No one really knows. It's a bunch of theories, isn't it? Okay, because no one really knows, but there is knowledge that we do gain, and I've done shows on that, and I'm thinking about doing a couple more shows on it. There is knowledge that you do gain in and of itself that is the same knowledge that other people gain across the planet when you strive to or rise to and vibrate at a certain point. The more knowledge you gain, the more knowledge you actually gain. You unlock knowledge that is there in the universe. People, low vibration go, oh, you're full of it, bro. You know what you're talking about. None of that's all hokey. Right, and that guy's just above a barbarian. He's never going to be anything but a knuckle dragger. No offense, but that's the way that is. If that's all you want to do, then I'm okay with it. I'm not judging you. I'm not saying I'm better than you in any way. What I'm saying is, those of us who get to a certain point, we're trying to tell you there's more out there, and you get to the same point. You learn the same things, the same knowledge. And if you don't believe me, go to Orion Rising on YouTube and go back in the archives and find the video that I did a few years ago where I had shamans and mediums and different kinds of psychics on my show. I think there was 6 or 7 of us, 3, 4, 5 of us, something like that, from around the world, from the United States, from South Africa. We had one slated from England, but she had to back out at the last second, from around the world. Yet we all gained the same knowledge. Okay, why is that? How is that possible? It's because there is a knowledge that has been taken from you that you're unaware of, because you have the forgetting here. All of your knowledge is taken. And I'm here to help you to remember who you are. And once you remember who you are, you're going to remember who all of us are and what we're here for. And then guess what? You're going to be right here where I am at some point, if you're not already here and past for this point. Okay? All right, guys. So tune in. If you like me, like I said, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so that you know that I go live, because that's the only way that you know that I post a video anymore, is that you have to hit that little bell. Okay? So take a look at that, and I'll see you next time.